Hello and welcome everyone, I'm Madals and today I've got game number 1 of a best of 3 coming up, and I say today very dubiously because while this will be released as the first game of this day, and the day that you're watching it, that is, assuming you're watching it on the day it's released, which you should because you should be subscribed to me because, as I said, I get games out daily. But for me, this is not the first game of the day. I've just finished casting a live event, or I haven't just. A little while back I finished casting a live event, and I started casting again for my YouTube channel immediately after, and this is about the 9th game I've cast. So my goodness, I'm going for a castathon. But the reason for that is because, yeah, daily content going out means that I've got a plan to make sure I get something coming out every day. When tomorrow I'm doing a live event, the day after that I'm doing another live event, and the day after that, and the day after that, and yeah, just 4 days. So 4 days straight I'm doing live events that are going to take up most of my evening, and yeah, so not much time, lots of casting, good fun though, so that's all good. Anyway, I should probably introduce these two players. So it's going to be a bit of Zerg versus Terran. Down in the bottom left position, we have got the blue Zerg player from VP BenQ. It's Slivko. And his opponent, up in the top left, it is the red Terran from Team Millennium, Dayshi. Now, of course, this game should be pretty fun. Most Zerg versus Terrans end up in a lot of excitement generally. I don't know whether it's just a matchup, but there's lots of fun things that go on. It's because there's like, currently in the metagame, Zergling, Baneling, Mutalisk is really popular, so you've got lots of Baneling explosions, you've got drops coming down from the Terran side, you've got lots of expansions generally trying to get taken, lots of different strategies, multi-prong attacks, big surrounds, all those sort of things just naturally play into the matchup, so it does make it really exciting to watch. And it's actually one of my favourite matchups. Actually, it may even be my favourite matchup. I'm not sure. I can't decide on that. The trouble is, whenever I'm sitting there thinking like, ooh, is this my favourite matchup? I'm always like, oh, but what about CVP? What about like PVT? What about all these other matchups? Like, dude, I just can't decide. It's pretty tough. But yeah. Anyway, hatch first, into spawning pool, then a gas. Pretty normal from Slivko's side. Like, this is quintessentially normal. Standard build also coming down here from Dayshi, actually. Did he get the command center first? I believe he did, yeah. CC first into a barracks, into a gas. So yeah, pretty standard builds out of Dayshi as well. Red City, quite a large map. Gonna come and scout the cross spawn position, not cross spawn, horizontal spawn positions first for both these two players. Just wanting to make sure that actually they're not spawning there, because that does lead to some fun. They're in the vertical positions, which as well, to be honest, does have some quite fun paths. This area in particular for Zerg is horrible. Seriously, just putting stuff around here so difficult to deal with. If you position tanks like here, poke in, or not even tanks, widow mines just around here. It's a tight choke. Basically, anywhere there's tight chokes is not good for Zerg. And if you're in cross spawns, generally you come through this area as opposed to down the side. But in vertical, you come straight through here. Tight choke. You can pull back, and you've got to be really cautious not to get caught out by things like widow mines or tank fire. So definitely something that Slivko is going to be looking out for. Meanwhile, Dayshi can drop as well like a beast in these spawn positions because the main base completely vulnerable, covered by dead space around here. Yeah, you can just come in and do quite a lot. You can escape down the back as well, try and come in the natural, and then if you do drop into the natural, well, guess what? You can escape out into loads of dead space around here. So dropping really potent on this map. But interestingly from Slivko, speed never got taken. He's just going straight up to the lair, a very early lair at that. There's the roach run. This could be some kind of roach speed kind of play. It could also be a roach baneling bus coming down, and Dayshi now just securing up that third CC while getting the factory down. So a very economical and very tech heavy opening from the Millennium player. But meanwhile, the SCV scout comes in and ooh, the cancel went down on the lair. Did not want to get that scouted. Very dubious stuff coming out from Slivko. And of course, Dayshi just has no clue. If we take a look at Dayshi's vision, look, nothing around here. Just saw a hatch and a roach one. It all seemed very normal. But of course, with that lair coming down, it is far from that. It's very abnormal, very aggressive, and something that I have no doubt we're going to have to see Dayshi be a little bit careful about. And that's why you see the bunker coming down. We've got, obviously, the supply depot is going to wall that off as well, just to make sure connections can't come down quite as easily. But 4 roaches now on their way, rallied across. The lair will be delayed, clearly because it was cancelled first, but that's not a big deal. Starport coming down, and Tech Lab's actually being floated free, so we may see a Banshee coming out here. That'd be very exciting stuff to get a look at if this Starport does decide to go over. There could also not, but considering another tech lab's coming down on this barracks, certainly seeming that way. We could get a nice little three-way switch, but no. Starport coming down, Banshee definitely going to be coming out. I think this game was played prior to the cloak buff. Yeah, it was 200-200, so yep, this is all good. Just going to be fairly normal. This heading, going to see the roaches coming out, not too much to worry about. And oh my goodness, there's a Nidus network. A Nidus network is being played. Slivko, you have instantly become a fan favorite. Like, in one simple move, building a Nidus network, a carrier, or a battle cruiser makes you loved by the audience. It's a secret ability that you don't actually hear spoken about too often, but it certainly does work. But with the roaches coming across, yeah, Supply Depot wall-off comes up. We've also got the SCVs pulled, ready to repair out the bunker. With the Marauder in there, these 4 roaches aren't going to be able to push through. It's that simple. But is there anywhere Nidus can get down where Dayshi can't see? No. Daishi's got really good vision. He could get one over here, but of course getting an Overlord there could be a little bit more challenging. So don't expect we'll be seeing that. A couple more roaches are coming out though. The Nidus is done, and the Nidus worm just coming down at the back here. But Dayshi would have to be fairly blind not to see this coming down, especially when the SCVs are now getting pulled. Oh, is it going to get taken out? It's going to be fairly close, guys. But with a Marauder there and a Banshee coming over, definitely will go down. And so that is good news. Another Nidus now coming down up on the high ground up here. This is not somewhere that Dayshi has got vision. So this means this one will come down, won't get disrupted at all, and can sneak around the side here, out the range of the bunker, start picking off at stuff, and actually in a bit of a difficult position. Out comes a queen as well. Roaches now tumbling out too. This is where Daishi's suddenly going like, damn it, I hate this high ground. And of course all the SCVs being forced to pull out. The roaches is going to come and hug down the back of the mineral and be like, well, if you want to fight us, you're going to have to get out of your little bunker. But with the Banshee down, that's actually slowly going to start working it through. SCV's getting pulled here, just trying to tank up some of the damage. The Queen's transfusing like a boss. The Banshee trying to get taken down. One will fall, but the second one is going to win the fight with the aid of the SCVs. Has Slivko done any damage here? The answer is yes, certainly he has. A lot of SCVs getting taken down. More SCVs going down as well as more roaches come popping on out. Queen is in the Nidus too, but that is going to get taken down. 19 workers killed though. Pretty damn good. That's nice there, and it does mean that there's now a 10 drone advantage for Slivko at the moment, but this bunker getting salvaged. The downside for Slivko, no third. He's only just getting ready to take that now, so that does delay things for him, and that's not going to be too great, because if you do get that delay coming down, you're going to be quite hurt in both production, also the upgrades as well for Slivko haven't even got started. He committed a lot to that. That was not a I have to win play, but I have to deal a good amount of damage, and he has. But with the 3 mules out, I'm not sure if it was enough. Dayshi has held on, does have the +1 upgrades coming down, but Stim not done yet. But the push is on its way, but the roaches making their way through, and of course Dayshi was going the wrong way round, so didn't see these roaches on their way through, and this means a couple of SCVs are going to go down, and oh, the supply depot to the main was down. That means the roaches are just coming streaming in. This is the damage that Slivko needed to do to justify not having that third yet. The roaches are the natural adding as a distraction. SCVs in the main getting picked up. Slivko now having killed 36 workers this game. If he focuses the tech lab, which he's not, he could have stopped Stim. That would have been massive, but doesn't do it. His attention instead focused on trying to pick off SCVs, trying to just stay alive as long as possible. With the SCV count now for Dayshi down to just 27 of 50 of Slivko. That is a fairly big lead. A couple more SCVs could get taken down. The Marauders trying to get focused first. More roaches pushing in. More SCVs getting taken down. This is relentless aggression from the Zerg player. And of course, look at this. A single Overlord has made its way in, but unfortunately no room to Nidus there at the moment. But yeah, worker count 51 to 29. That's the sort of lead that Slivko had won. He's also got the third up and a Spire coming down here too. +1 is done though. Stim is done. And 2 Banshee are going to try and do a little bit of damage, but whether they're going to be able to achieve much is yet to be seen, because more Queens are getting pumped, and of course that Spire is nearly done. And once Mutalisks come out, that is when Banshee get hard countered. It's that simple. But the roaches coming in for wave number 3. There's a tank up on the high ground, and with a good Marauder count, these roaches aren't feeling their luck. The Queen's trying to push back at the moment against these Banshee. The drone's trying to get saved for the time being too. This Queen is going to die, but not before it takes out one of the Banshee. That makes things a lot nicer. It means drones take 2 hits to kill, as opposed to 1 volley from the 2 of them knocking out a drone. So slightly better, but this is good counter damage being done. The Spore Caller is trying to get constructed as quickly as possible. Will now be finished. That means even if Cloak was there, couldn't do much. Behind this, Dayshi getting down the armory, ready to start up the 2-2 upgrades, or should I say +2 weapons and +1 armor is on its way down there too. So this is looking okay at the moment for both players. Dayshi definitely caught up a bit by knocking down Slivko's drone count, but the Mutalisks are on their way out. In terms of anti-air, there's 11 Marines. That's it. That's not a good number of Marines to take out 10 Mutalisks. It's going to be pretty tough, but the Banshee doing a nice bit of work on these roaches. The Mutalisks are just about to pop the Baning Nest, and speed for Zerglings is coming down to the 13-minute 50 mark because Slivko, he's had no need for that up until this point. Just going to focus on those Mutalisks that are making their way across the map now. 10 drones as well getting pumped through. No missile turrets. 1 Widow Mine, if I remember correctly, which is sitting on this high ground here. Not where those... Oh, 1 Mutalisk is going to fly over there. Does get hit by it. Does get taken out. That's frustrating, but more SCVs dying. Marines getting pulled back, but they're not going to be able to get up to the main before these Mutas just start coming in here. Picking off SCVs, trying to construct things, always a good way to go. But more SCVs in the main are going to get taken out. This is very frustrating as the Marines try and get back. And of course, the Mutalisks can just kite up and back and just say, well, Marines, if you want to try and deal with this, try and be in 2 places at once. The Mutalisk count is starting to dwindle down a little way, though. Their damage is starting to become slightly critical. So Slivko doing the right thing, pulling back, but knocked Dayshi back down to 42 drones. This is such an aggressive game for both players, but Slivko definitely coming off better in terms of the damage being done. 56 SCVs killed this game. Missile turrets being forced, but +2 ground weapons is on its way down here. Slivko taking his 4th, while only now just starting 1-1. Definite upgrade advantage here for Dayshi. And the economy, well, it's not looking too good, but having said that, there is the 3rd orbital to command 3 mules. The Mutalisks, though, they're coming in to try and say no to this, but how many Mutas are there? Can they take out a missile turret? 17 Mutalisks up against 1 missile turret? Yes, if the repair doesn't go down, they can do it, but they've got to focus it damn quickly, and they do manage to get a big hit there, and all of Daishi's army is across the map, so not going to be able to get back here to defend. That means this 3rd base getting eradicated, but Dayshi coming in to put on the pain. Tanks, Marines, and, well, a couple of Marauders in the mix, too, are going to be making their way forward. Slivko, if he defends this with this big group of Banelings, 13 of them he's morphing in at the moment, can do pretty well, but that's got to be good. The Mutalisks, are they going to come back? Are they going to try and engage here? Well, the Banelings rolling on forward. The connections do go down. The tanks, 2 of them taken out, but 1 more still stands. The upgrades still in favour of Dayshi. 1-1 done, up against no upgrades. And yeah, all in all, we do see that, yeah, Dayshi putting on a lot of hurt. Slivko just waiting. He needs some more units out to engage this cost effectively, and as long as he doesn't actually lose too many workers, he's still ahead in that respect. But now in comes the Zerglings, in come the Roaches. They're going to try and get in a good position, but Dayshi already found a fantastic vantage point to engage here behind the mineral line. But Mutalisks now coming into the mix as well, trying to pick this off as quickly as possible. It is going to get cleaned up. Slivko massively supply block, is getting 8 overlords down here too, though. Is this enough, though, for Dayshi to level out this series? Well, 68 drones to 50 SCVs. This 3rd has lost a lot of mining time. Slivko's got a good bank as well sitting there, but Slivko doesn't have too much tech. One of the evolution chambers was picked off, so he's only got +1 melee attack, no +1 carapace. His lair is really, the lair and spire is the only tech he's got. No infestation pit, no option to go up into hive quite yet, and we're already approaching the 18-minute mark. The Mutalisks are getting taken out. They don't have upgrades either, so things are not looking too good at the moment in that respect. However, Slivko has been a continual threat to Dayshi, killing 64 SCVs this game. That's enough to knock Daishi's economy really down on its face, but 2-1 upgrades are done for Dayshi at the moment. +1 flyer attack only just now coming down for Slivko. His saving grace, he's got a 4th. This could be the big thing. If that 4th base stays up and the Mutalisks can do some nice economic damage continuing on into the later stages, then guess what? He may be able to do something good, but the main is completely vulnerable. There's no Marines up here, just a single one. A couple of SCVs are certain to go down. The engineering bay getting focused. Definitely should try and target some of these SCVs, but a Thor now coming up is going to put an end to this Mutalisk play, at least for the moment. You've got a magic box of Thor. Otherwise, it is going to kill all of your Mutas. Only the single Thor at the moment, though, with no more in production. There's the infestation pit for Slivko coming down. He's getting +1 carapace too, but he needs to start taking up into hive. He needs to work out what his late game strategy is going to be. Probably Ultras is going to be on the cards because he is going for this Ling Bling Muta strategy, but he needs a couple of infestors in that to get the good fungal growths on the infantry to lock them in place so he can engage them. This game very intense, lots of action, but a slight pause, a slight respite for Slivko in his aggression, because a good defense is set up now by Dayshi with those missile turrets on the Thor. But Dayshi, he is pushing out across the map again. He knows he's got that upgrade advantage, and Slivko knows it too. He's actually got himself supply blocked again. Does have 3 overlords in production. Dayshi going to be forced back to come and try and defend this, but of course reinforcements getting picked off as they come in. That's always frustrating. Slivko ahead in supply by just over 40. That's a big supply lead. The worker count, that's still quite a nice lead, 73 to 57. That's the sort of thing Slivko's going to want to see, but not actually engaging the army at the moment. Just saying, do you know what? you take this, like, you come back and defend, I'm buying myself some more time to start getting down my tech, but here comes Slivko. Now the Banelings need some good connections. There are no Widow Mines, no, sorry, one Widow Mine on the field, but it's not with this army. That means nothing to take out the Banelings. They're rolling forward, taking out the Marines, the Mutalisk cleaning up a lot very quickly. The Thor as well was taken out very fast. Dayshi now down to 114 supply. A few Marines still standing. We've got a couple more floods of units coming out. Needs more Banelings, and there we go. They are starting to morph in. Dayshi pushing forward, though, maybe thinking that he can do something, but +1 ground carapace is about to kick in, and that's where the upgrades get a little bit more equal. 2-1 up against 1-1. Certainly going to start getting some better trades here for Slivko, but a 4th base is on its way for Dayshi now. But Slivko's had his 4th up for quite the time, and this means that with Pathogen Glands on its way, with the Infestors coming out, with the Hive about half done, and subsequently Ultras or Broodlords coming out, actually Slivko is getting really nicely into an endgame composition. Dayshi is being denied that by this constant harassment, this constant aggression, constant whittling down of the army. It's just Slivko saying, do you know what, I'm not letting you get into a comfortable foothold. Widow Mine production is started back up again. Doesn't want those Banelings just rolling in freely anymore. Wants to make sure they get shut down as quickly as they can. A few Zerglings coming in towards the natural base, focusing the orbital command first, which is quite interesting. But now the main army is going to try and pick off these units as they come in to defend. That's allowing the Zerglings to pick off quite a lot of stuff. Quite a tight choke here. Widow Mines are starting to burrow, but Zerglings unable to trigger that as the few that go through. But the Zerglings in the natural mineral line doing quite a nice little bit of damage there. If we take a look, we've had 65 workers killed this game, but here comes the Great Aspire. Here comes the Infestors right now for Slivko. He's getting into late game, and this is where things start getting a little bit scary, because Dayshi, in all honesty, doesn't really have anything to deal with those Broodlords yet. He does know the Great Aspire is coming down, and Slivko is still applying the pain, trying to come in, but the Marine count and Marauder count getting a little bit higher with the mines, and of course a good medevac fleet. That actually means that this is a tough army for Slivko to engage. Dayshi doing an amazing job this game of coming back time and time again from against the odds. The Mutalisks are flying in, trying to pick off these Marauders that are running out in front. Doesn't manage to, gets one I think before getting taken out. This of course is while Slivko is busy trying to take a 5th base. The center is going to get retaken though. The watchtower, the map dominance getting restolen back by Dayshi, who does have a 4th base up now with a planetary there, and looking a lot more healthier on the SCV front. 62 of them, plus those 3 mules, means to the economy actually looking fairly equal. Bit better gas income for Slivko though, just due to having that up, and now here comes the big attack from Slivko, but also from Dayshi. And Slivko just charging straight in here, wants to wreck the economy, and all the Banelings coming too. Dayshi not actually going to try and base trade, but instead going to come back and try and defend this. But with 8 Broodlords coming in back at home, this is what Slivko wants to buy time, wants to say, do you know what, come and defend this. The SCVs are all clumped up. Are the Banelings going to go and give them the burst of death? Well, it seems that yes they are. Big Baneling hit goes down there. The infantry getting picked off as it trickles back. The 4th base of Slivko has been taken out now, but Dayshi, he is picking off these units as they try and get away. That's a bit of a problem, but Broodlord's out, Infestors out. This is the kind of composition that is very scary to see. A good pick up on the medevacs, trying to pick off any units that get away, but the Baneling's just turning around and saying, well, guess what? We're going to kill you if we're going down anyway. The Marines slowly trying to pick away at some of these Lava. Of course, Lava have 10 armor, so take ages to kill with Marines. It's very tough. And, yeah, the Broodlords are going to make or break this engagement. And now down comes the Broodlings. This is not what Dayshi would have wanted to see. Good fungal growth there. Gets quite a large chunk of infantry, meaning that most of that is going to go down. Not what Dayshi wanted to see. Does actually knock him back down to equal supplies with Slivko. Viking production instantly started, 2nd starport instantly started, but those are the first 2 Vikings. Nothing else coming out the back of this, and of course, this means Slivko can start pushing forward, but his window of opportunity is limited. The Viking count, especially when these now 2 additional starports start coming down, are completed. That's the point where Viking production, 6 at a time, is quickly going to overpower this Broodlord force. But the Infestors is hugging the Broodlords at the moment, getting ready to start engaging some of this. The Broodlords edging even further, trying to get over to dead space so the Marines can't get underneath them. But this is Slivko regaining the map control, putting Dayshi back on the back foot. We've got additional hatcheries down here. The 5th is up for Slivko. He's trying to take a 4th. A drop trying to come in and do some damage with the Mutalisks and Zerglings, chasing that down. Of course, a medevac boost only lasts for so long, and then the Mutalisks really start catching up. Broodlord Infestor Force in the middle of the map. Double drop coming down though, is going to find this right-hand base and will be able to take it out. Unless, of course, Slivko gets over there. I don't know if he scouted this with anything. He hasn't yet, but maybe guessing. No, he's not. He's changing direction. He doesn't know about this double drop coming in, and that's because his Broodlords are starting to make their way forward. Is Is Slivko going to go for the final march? A scan goes off, says, is there anything defending here? The Viking count's currently sitting at 6, with 3 more about to pop out. Will it be enough in time? The Mutalists there ready to engage the Vikings. The Infestors ready to get the fungal growths off. The double drop now coming back in order to defend, as opposed to taking out the 5th base of Slivko. The Broodlords pushing forward. Dayshi is going to have to make a stand here, but of course the Broodlords can just start shelling away, throwing them 3 units at everything. A couple of fungal growths going, but no fungal growths yet. That are absolutely massive. The Vikings still doing some nice damage to the Mutalists that are just ignoring them. But there's a good fungal growth on the Mutalists now trying to take out the Vikings. That is what Slivko needs to do. He's got a supply advantage, but this double drop is coming in from the back. Are the reinforcements going to be enough? Can they pick up some Infestors? Maybe. But things not looking good on the left-hand front here for Dayshi at the moment. The Broodlords pushing forward. Dayshi really looking to be on his last legs. And Slivko looking to be in a very good spot. Some infested Terrans getting lobbed over. The Broodlords sieging everything. The Viking getting pushed back. The Viking count is at 0. More Corruptors are coming out. The 3 more Vikings just popped. But as it stands, Dayshi is just losing all of his production facilities, and Slivko is busy destroying them. And that, with units flooding across the map, these reinforcements are not enough. Things not looking good for Dayshi, who's now down under 100 supply. This is probably going to be GG here. I don't see anything that really Dayshi's got that can deal with this many Broodlords. Just trying to get out, squeeze out a couple more Vikings, but I don't think they're going to be there in time. There's so many Mutalisks as well. Those 10 Mutalisks can engage the Vikings with a few good fungal growths, and now there goes that fungal growth. The Mutalisks, the Broodlords, dealing a good job against this infantry, and the Transfuse is even coming down as the Vikings from behind. Few more fungal growths going down. The Mutalisks cleaning everything up. Dayshi's supply tumbling, and there is the well played, and that was such an epic game. But yes, that was only game number 1. I'll see you all at game number 2 in just a second. But before you go, like the video, leave a cool comment, and of course subscribe. I'll see you at game 2 just a second.